A word on Inter. That defense, which was so rock solid in the past, really had a rough ride in this game. Do you blame the defense? Do you blame the midfield?
It's a good. I think it's a good debate. I blame a bit of both, and I also blame Inzaghi in a way, but not in a bad way. I like the fact that they're more expensive than under Conte, and they were so solid defensively Conte because they played 20 yards deeper than they do now. So obviously you expose your defense a bit more. But I on Saturday I didn't think the Bastoni, Skriniar, De Vrij trio looked very solid, and the serenity was there. They made mistakes. The positioning, when they know each other so well, felt a bit like, what's going on here? And again, the way Leao scored the second, I mean, even the Giroud goal, I'm like...
The Giroud goal, they all seem to freeze.
Yeah.
I think, though, that's because they don't expect that pass from Leao.
Yeah, true.
I mean, that just totally... And also the finish from Giroud, if you look at it, it's not a clean... It doesn't...
It's not. He hits his standing leg.
But he hits it. He still manages to get all this power off it, which is weird. It's not, and I think that befuddled them a little bit.
But I do wonder if Skriniar, with the move to PSG that didn't happen, that he wanted it to happen. I mean, he's out of contract in next summer. Maybe he's playing a little bit on his mind. I don't think they've only kept one. I think there's only one game they don't concede so far this season in 5.
If I were unkind, I'd say they're also playing in front of Handanovic, but that's a whole other issue.
Sure.
I want to wrap this by saying Inter have added a body at the back. They brought in Acerbi. This story with Acerbi, it's such a weird story. It's a weirdly Italian story, but I think it's a tremendous story. Acerbi, of course, Italian international defender. He's now 33, but he can do a job for you.
Experience.
He's very active on social media, involved in a whole bunch of social causes. Some people say that that is part of the reason why the Lazio fans never quite or ultimately turned on him, that he was a little bit too social justice oriented. I think that might be unkind. The Inter fans don't like him because, by the way, he's also a man who's beaten cancer as well, which we should point out. Inter fans, a lot of the ultras don't want him, partly because Inter's ultras, or some of the ultras groups, are twinned with Lazio ultras. But they also don't like him because he's not just a former Milan player, but he's a self-described Milan fan. And when Lazio played Milan last year in the game that ultimately gave Milan the title, you see him smiling after Lazio concede. I think this is totally unfair on him. I think he's a good signing to add depth to, a backline where you get beyond that 3.
You've got Di Marco and that's it. Yeah.
Danilo D'Ambrosio, who's more, but he's a different profile defender. Di Marco, perhaps more of a wing back. In fact, we saw the impact he had when he came on. Yeah. One of the arguments against Inzaghi is he should have made those changes sooner, perhaps.
Or not even start Damian.
Yeah, or be more aggressive with Di Marco. So I'm on Team Acerbi. I will come out and say this. It doesn't.
I like that.
I think at his age, I want to see him go another go, and I think he deserves another shot. But it shows you the power of the fans.
Yeah,
because
of course.
Lazio were ready to let him go on a free. He basically spent like 3 weeks in Milan, as the transfer window counted down. They weren't negotiating; they had a deal in place, but it was just because Stephen Jang, the Inter president, hesitated on giving the green light. I think, in part, because of the reaction from the fans.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.